Welcome back to the Esports. So this week we're going to be looking at a Slayer match on the Aquarius map, and just to keep things changed up a bit, we're going to be looking at a Diamond Elo game today. Again, I just want to say thank you for all the support so far from everyone that's tuned in, subscribed or not. We've had loads of comments, loads of things highlighting things that even I've said that are wrong, like spawns and stuff like that. It's just really great that people are willing to put that comments in, take the time, and I can have a conversation with them. As always, we're all Eternal students. I'm still climbing my way back up to Onyx, just for full transparency, just like in the last video. I was Onyx in Halo Reach, I was Onyx in Halo 5, I was Onyx in Season 1 in Infinite. I'm currently climbing up. I am around halfway through Diamond 4 right now, not really hitting that much trouble, so hopefully anything I say you can see that, or feel that I know what I'm talking about. I will not be under any illusion, however, that there are not players out there who are much better than me. So I am not going to sit here and think I am the god of Halo. That is not true at all. However, I feel like that one of the strengths of my gameplay is definitely my macro play as opposed to my mechanics. So back to this game. So Slayer on Aquarius. So we've got a controller player. They played Halo for a very long time. And we're going to be trying to pay specific attention here to map rotations and positioning in Slayer, which is really important. Slightly different to the other game modes we've looked at in the sense that because the objectives are constantly moving, because the objective is the enemy team, it means that positioning and the way that you set up, while there are advantageous positions in each map, like for example on Aquarius, you want to be controlling top mid. So you've got that map control from both sides. The way your enemy stands may differ, and so that means like we don't have a strict setup in most cases, especially at these elos. So we're going to get right into it. We'll talk about the spawns, and then we will go and see how this game starts. So, as always, how does a game start on Aquarius? Both teams spawning in the bases, both teams wanting to get control of that camo and potentially those little zappy grenades. And basically whoever gets that, camo is a few free kills. We've also got the, I'm going to call it the scatter shot, just like I did in the other video. I can never remember the name of that thing. We've got the scatter shot as well. And so really we're looking for that camo, scatter shot, top mid control, get the disruptor grenades, and we're having a good time. So we want to make sure that we're pushing up the top of util. We want to make sure that we're having people push the pump. We really want to avoid pushing courtyard unless we're going to jump up, or pushing bottom util. Because if you push bottom util, you have essentially choke point yourself because the enemy team's going to throw grenades. You could argue it's the same on Link as well. But if you've got the manpower there and someone's gone around and climbed up from mid, then you've got support from an alternative direction. Really big opportunity here to be using things like curb slides, even if it's just off the Mohawk where commando spawns, just to get that extra few steps in front of your opponent that will allow you to nade their link first. So you really want to make sure that you're doing everything you can in terms of movement tech. Put something like that on the screen now, that will help you to get there before your opponent. So let's get into the match then. Nice little plug here, again, just for transparency. I got contacted by someone who's made a video review software called Vodon. This video is not sponsored by them in any way. I'm purely using it as they've asked me to have a look. You can check it out yourself at the website that's in the description. It is freely, the source code is freely available. However, I'm not going to pretend that I have fully read through it and it is not putting any risks on your computer. I've used it safely, I've had no issues. I don't want to put any of my viewers in an awkward position, so I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this software, but at the same time, just to protect my viewers, please don't say that I've said this is safe. My antivirus says it's safe. I'm pretty sure it is safe, but I ain't a programmer, so just so you know on that one. So let's get into this then and see what happens. Okay, so I was talking about this right at the start. So we're actually pushing bottom util, which is not that great here. What you probably should have done is gone this way and climbed up to give support to your ally. Because you've got teammates who are also hanging around on the right hand side as well. Because as you see when we go through here, you're going to choke point yourself. Okay, so the enemy team's really slow on the uptick here. Someone was mid, you didn't quite see that. Okay, so big exchange here. Probably should have backed off. The bottom util was risky. You gave them a direct line of fire and a flank point, and so because you conceded top mid, they could push through. And even though your teammate missed his jump, I suppose you could have pulled back a little bit there. Nice little crossfire. Nice call-outs. Guy coming up from util. He's clearly sat in the corner. Yeah. Nice little trade there. Nothing wrong with that at all. So, here, let's go a little bit forward. Here, we're going to pause. We've got an ally who's shooting into this room. So we know that there's enemies there. This also means potentially that someone could show their face up here as well. Or down here as well. So we always want to think about, if I push this angle, where could enemies come from? Another thing that's really important to consider when you push this door is, let's not forget, the disruptor grenades spawn on the corridor over here somewhere in the background. You really want to make sure when you push this door, anywhere that's sort of like in this zone here is basically a death trap if the opponent throws the disruptor grenade through. You really don't want to push it that way. I would have probably, you could go around, but I would probably have pushed it from a little further away just so that if the disruptor grenade did come through, it wasn't curtains. So let's see what happens. We get tapped by it. It did roll out a little bit. You were far enough back to get out, which is good. I just would have wide swung that a bit. Okay, that ally, that enemy there has clearly just slid through this door and he's here somewhere at the other side. Your teammate is in combat over here. He's clearly down here. Let's see if you've got the game sense to remember that. Check in, but he's not there. So you're thinking he's gone. And as soon as you go past, he's gone straight past your teammate and he's caught you out. You did call him out though. So just go back and support your teammates when things like that happen. Don't let him just sit in your territory. Close. I like this methodical approach, but I feel like sometimes we're a little hesitant. Okay, we're pushing top util this time. That's good. Fight's breaking out. Right, we know for a fact. I'm going to wait till the player moves. We know for a fact, and there's even the gunfire coming through. Look at the death feed here. 2 of our allies have died. 1 of the players has died. There is definitely someone in this area here. This area is now wide open. And this ally down here is about to die. So we need to consider positioning very carefully here. We're not in a favourable position. Yeah, and then they got the flank off. So they got the flank from the back. The fight lasted too long.
Yellow link.
Active camo available.
Good crossfire setup here. We're going to take it. No, we're going to go util. Got a kill out of it though. It's all good. The death corner. He has got camo though. I don't think there's really anything you could have done there. But you did call him out and you did say where he was going as well, which was really good. Very good information for the team. No one else on the team calling out this game. Right, let's review positioning again. We've got an ally here. We've got an ally just to our side here. We've also got an ally that's taking fire there. This guy is also facing this way and taking fire. So what we need to think about is where the enemies are going to be. In my opinion, hotspots are going to be this area here, potentially down the side down here. And if we continue to push this way across the map, what this means is that they may also spawn in this base. So we just need to be careful of that if we end up going out onto top mid. Ah, so they actually did spawn behind you already. That's fine. We got a 2 for 1. Okay, this position here is very strong. You've got someone top mid. You've got someone at the other base, and you've got someone to your right. Your position here gives complete priority over this entire section of the map. So if anyone wants to push camo in any way or push top mid, you get info, which let's not forget, as ranks get higher, information is the most important thing. You will find as you go up in ranks on Halo, there are less random fights. It tends to be that players are looking for information, and it tends to be that players will not act unless they have that information, because misplaying a position at higher ranks will definitely get you killed, because you'll either get called out or they'll hear you. And if that's the case, the enemy team will respond. You'd probably get absolutely bombed with grenades, especially in a map like Aquarius where there's just so many choke points. You just need to be really careful. I like holding the top base area because it just gives you so much information. And straight away we get a crossfire, which is exactly what I was talking about. Teammates in util. We've lost that top base control, but we're pushing top mid. That's fine. We're rotating around. We've got 3 people on pump though. Are we watching the other sides? Luckily your teammate got the kill.
Top mid. Blue link.
It's fine. Called him out. So we know they're in that area. That's not the... That may be the same player. I didn't time the shield recharge there. Ooh, that grenade wasn't needed.
Oh wow. Top mid, one shot.
I like the discipline. Not chasing. He's around you though still, so you have to be careful. You can hear him. Yeah, he died. That's fine. I like the discipline, and I'll just pause the video. One of the things that you see a lot of at lower ranks is this chase. Obviously, if someone's going into your territory and it's an objective or a big pickup, you could argue that a chase is needed. However, one of the things you definitely see a lot of is just this mindless, you're one shot, so I'm going to chase you. And in a lot of cases, you will end up chasing an opponent to your death. Particularly there, if the player had gone top mid, they had no idea where the rest of the team was. So they could have just exposed their back to the spawning team on the base, and then they're dead. I like this mid control when camo's coming up. This is good. Okay, this play here is really simple, but I want to highlight it because of how many people make this mistake. The shields are low. There's fire coming from this direction. Most people would have dropped. And if I was a betting man, I would be willing to say that there is going to be someone waiting for the cleanup down there. It is very it's almost this automatic response to back up, go on the stairs, and then drop to the bottom. Because the bottom's safe, right? Because it's covered. But there will always be someone at refrigerator who's waiting for you to do that. And let's not forget, the guy that was shooting them is from refrigerator anyway. So we waited for the shields to go up before we dropped, which was a good play. We know they're at blue base. Hesitating a little. I would have instantly picked up the shotgun there and ran. But we did stick camo and we told the team.
Pipes.
That's fine. Nice little trade. They're losing camo, it's always worth it. Waiting out. Okay, there. I'm just going to go back a little bit there. Sorry about having to rewatch this bit. Okay, here. The line of sight, this area up here, I believe will end around here. And you stood there. So they can see you for a lot longer than you like. I would have still pushed and seen what information I could have got, and the play was fine. It was all good, good intentions, trying to get some kills, trying to spot this teammate who's unfortunately stuck in the refrigerator. But I just would have played it a bit more closer to this area here, probably. You could argue that you probably want to stand here, just because if you're further away from a wall, you get a better viewing angle. But in this case, I don't really think it matters. So I would have just probably stuck it out around here, maybe strafed a bit backwards and forwards, just to get some shots on. And then as soon as the second player was there, I would have just dipped. I would have just been gone. I'm out. This guy he bits you in so good. He bits you in so good. And the teammate goes for it as well.
Blue courtyard. Blue util.
We're responding to fights around us. Holding this area is okay, but again, being between utils, not amazing. Nice little flank. Gunshots coming from the base. Where are they? Ooh, this is not a good position to hold. You want to get out. Bottom util is a terrible position to hold. You do not want to stay there if you don't have to. There's just so many. Let's just go back. Let's look. How many locations can we get attacked from here? 1, 2, 3, 4. We can't respond on this one because it's higher than us. This one's hard to respond on because it's higher than us. This one's okay because we've got 2 teammates over here. This one is very dangerous because there's a complete... We can't respond. Our teammates are over here. We're facing that way. There's a grenade coming in. I think... I'm imagining there's going to be some sort of plasma grenade that flies through. Oh, they already thrown it. I didn't even notice.
Top blue link.
So it's just that...
Link, sorry.
It's just that death trap of bottom control. You just don't want it. And let's not forget one of the things I haven't actually said so far, and one of the things I should have mentioned, and in fact, even in the other videos, we probably should have spoke about it. We know that they've got a player, yellow link.
Sorry.
We're not using the death cam. They've got the other player, top yellow control and yellow link. We've spawned at the shotgun on blue. Because of that, we know a few things. We know the majority of their team is on util side. Potentially blue base, maybe. And a lot of people forget how important spawn points actually are. Calling out a spawn is as useful as calling out where an enemy is, because if you know where you spawn, you know, in most cases, except in CTF, this doesn't apply to CTF, you know where the enemy isn't. And if that's the case, if you know where they aren't, because the map, the game spawns you as far away from your opponents as it possibly can. As I've said before, sometimes it doesn't do a very good job, but it tries. If you know where you spawned, you can work out roughly where the enemy is. And if you know where the enemy is, that means you can roughly figure out what you need to do based on where your teammates stood. So where you spawn is often overlooked, and it is a very, very important part of the game that a lot of people forget about. So that's just my little thing on that. And look, they're at control side. Getting attacked from control side and from the base where we died earlier.
5-1.
Probably going to get traded here. Yep, it's fine. We got traded. We're in lead. We're in the lead. It's fine. He should have backed off though. That was very risky after that exchange. I think we're going to lose that exchange there. There's another one. Sometimes it's just knowing when to leave. It's that whole thing again I've said in the other video. The people who win at lower ranks are not the people who make the most plays. It's the people who make the least mistakes. We just heard camo. Awesome use of sound recognition there. It was really good. Get yourself a good headset if you haven't. Knowing where people are is half the game. Helps you so much. Holding top mid again. Look at the crossfire opportunities. Look at all this damage we're laying down. There's one kill. Teammate gonna get the second one.
Base.
Oh, camo.
Blue link weak.
Fine. We're crouching up in control again though. We need to spread out. Oh, 2 people. Dip. And going back to safety in the base. A little risky. You could have got crossfired there, but you didn't. Nice little slide. Looking for some information. Not getting any. Fighting control. And now it's quiet.
Zaps.
So we're thinking here.
Top
They
mid.
probably spawned somewhere around yellow util. And so this area is about to get very dangerous. Yep, there's one there. He should not have challenged that. He knew there were 3 of you there. That came from the base.
Just camping yellow base.
Just a little thing there. There are a lot of, for lack of a better term, cheeky angles on this map. Look at this angle all the way to the base. So like, if there's a guy holding the base, you can shoot him from here. And he can see you, obviously. But it's not somewhere you look straight away because he's focusing on other stuff. So just be aware there are a lot of nice angles on Aquarius that you can take. And although I do say a lot of bad things about control, in certain situations there are some very, very, again, the term I don't like using, cheeky angles that you can take. And this is one of them. So.
Just camping yellow base.
They are indeed camping yellow base. Nice little melee exchange again. He was sprinting, you got the burst in first, then meleeed him. If it was Halo 3, you would have traded because of the silly melee trade thing they had in that game, but in this game, that's not how it works. Unless you got a sword and you got no shields. Look at the zone grenades here. Let's watch that again. Let's watch the importance of choosing where to attack an opponent from. This is literal textbook. Right. Look at this choke point here. All three of us, 1, 2, and you. This is the only way in. If they throw a nade here, there is nothing you can do for this player. Because if you eat those nades, they're going to kill you, or you're going to just die from the grenades anyway. What I would have done here is I would have gone up top mid. And these guys can go through, that's fine. But I would have created a crossfire, and also your teammate on that top mid there, if the enemy team is pushing that top of that base, he's on his own. And he's on his own against potentially 4 people, which is not good. So, yeah, I would have just pushed to the direction there. The push is fine, but I just would have pushed to the direction. Let's have a look. 1 grenade. 2 grenades. Teammate dies from it. They push through. You die because of the choke point. Not a great exchange for us there. Called him out again though. The comms are good from this player. I wish more people commed like this. There's always more comms, but yeah. Nice crossfire. Right, I know I keep doing this in this video, but this is something that a lot of players just don't do. This respawn sucked, by the way. Thanks 343. But the enemy team's here somewhere. We're in a dangerous position. However, we recognise we have an ally here, we have an ally here, and we have an ally here. So if anyone comes up into this zone here, even though our position's not great, it's quite vulnerable, we have a really, really good position in here, just from the spawn. So if the enemy team pushes up, this player crossfires, but you notice if you watch the video, look, the player's moving this way while they're doing it. So they're crossfiring, and then they're simultaneously moving to safety at the same time. Which is something you would not expect a platinum player to do. So that was some really good positioning from the team, from this player there. And there again, some good discipline again, some good discipline you expect from top platinum diamond players. They didn't need to go in for the melee, so they just didn't. We traded, but it doesn't matter, we're in the lead. And that's it. Pretty decent game. Pretty decent game. Some nice crossfires, some nice... Definitely some areas for development, but there's a lot of time where we were coming, we were helping the team, we were trying hard to be useful, which was really important. So let's wait for the stat screen to come up, and we'll have a little discussion about where this player could go next. Okay, so overall for this match, as I've said, good rotations in most cases, decent positioning, a little bit of improvement needed. Can't really see anything wrong with the aim. I mean, we had a low accuracy, but sometimes we were just firing shots to either pre-fire or we were just covering angles. That's fine. Don't get too obsessed with accuracy. There's weird things like the Disruptor firing like 28 shots or something anyway. So it's more of a case of the shots you're firing, do they have a purpose? Rather than a case of, haha, look at me, I've got 70% accuracy. One of the things I do think this player needs to look at is the speed at which they rotate and the confidence in the decisions that they make. And I think that's a game sense thing. I think it's a self-doubt thing. I think that sometimes we want to do the play, but then we don't know what to do, so we just do nothing. And it's like, okay, no one wants to make the wrong decision, but if you're going to learn what the right decision is, you surely have to make a decision, right? So it's like, make the wrong decision, and then learn it's the wrong decision. That's the only way you're going to get better. So... Like down in shotgun a few times, there was that hesitance to, it's sort of like, ooh, do I take the shotgun? Do I not? Do I sit in here? Where do I go? You should have just gone back to your team and took the shotgun. Other examples, there was those little hints of like crouch slides and things like that going through. Aquarius is an absolute monster of a map, just like Streets is. for using curb slides to get around places. There are so many ramps that you can launch yourself off. I'll put a few examples in while I'm talking. You can get some serious speed and really surprise people, especially if you have the shotgun. And I think looking at those things that I've discussed would help this player out quite a lot in terms of Slayer. Remember, in terms of the stuff I've said with rotations here, the spawn system works differently in CTF. And so please don't be using this advice for rotations and things in CTF, because CTF has like fixed spawn points for each team that you can manipulate. And we'll try and get a CTF game so I can sort of explain to you how that works. But yeah, this has been the diamond game. So again, thanks for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying doing these VOD reviews. I'm enjoying doing them because I'm learning a lot just doing them. Just little things. If you want your video reviewing, then if you look at the top of the screen, you can see there is an email address. Please send them. Send me a link to an unlisted YouTube video if you want, and then I'll download it from there. If you've got any questions or you disagree with me about anything, let me know in the comments. If you made it this far, you can put a comment in saying the climb or something like that. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. So more content coming. Gonna look to do a live stream of some customs soon. And make sure you subscribe so you can see when those things come out. So this has been Vanadam. See you later.